about a girl who goes to a matching banquet instead of prom. So instead of going to a dance in formal wear, she finds out who she's supposed to marry. And those of you who went to Timpview High might recognize the setting a little bit.
My name is Beth Revis, and I wrote across the universe. My short description of it is that it's a murder mystery in space. I like microphones. The longer description of it is that it's about a girl who's cryogenically frozen, and she goes aboard a spaceship with her family, and she is awoken early, and she has to figure out who woke her up before whoever does it starts unplugging the other frozens and killing them, including possibly her parents.
My name is Andrea Cremer, and I'm the author of Nightshade. So, Nightshade is not a werewolf book. That's what I always want to get this across. I wrote Nightshade because I was inspired to write a story. Most of my novels come out because a character is bugging me. And Calla, who was a 17-year-old girl, was in my head, and I knew she was strong and independent, and I knew she was also a wolf. But I grew up in northern Wisconsin in a really small town, and in the middle of a national forest, and I love wolves. So I wasn't okay with the description of werewolves that you see, like Lon Chaney and Wolfman, where it takes 10 minutes and bones cracking to become this hideous half-man, half-beast creature. I love wolves. I'm like, if I could turn into a wolf, that would be amazing. So I wanted to figure out a way to write a story about that. So Calla, being an alpha female who's about to inherit the role of the pack, has a very sexy but challenging alpha male in her life. But things get even more complicated when a human boy shows up where he's not supposed to be.
Hi, my name is Kirsten Miller, and that's exactly what I needed just now. I write a couple of different series. I write the Kiki Strike series, which is for a slightly younger audience, and today I'm here to discuss the Eternal Ones series. And the first book, The Eternal Ones, is about a girl named Haven Moore who is growing up in a very small town in the mountains of Tennessee, which is kind of like the very small town in the mountains of North Carolina where I grew up, but don't tell anybody. And for as long as she can remember, she's had visions of somebody else's life. She sees a girl who died in a tragic fire. And she doesn't know what to make of these visions, and the people in her town don't know what to make of the visions either. And one day she happens to look up at the TV, and there's somebody on the television that she thinks might have the answers to some of the questions that she's looking for. And of course it's a boy. So they always are, right? So she runs away to New York, much as I did at the age of 17. But I did it with my parents' permission. She doesn't. And she ends up coming into contact with a very strange and sinister secret society called the Ouroboros Society, which is filled with people who believe that they've led other lives. And I won't give any more away, but let's just say the plot begins.
I'm Brenna Yovanoff, and I wrote The Replacement, which is a dark changeling story about a boy who knows he's different, but he doesn't really understand where he comes from. And it's also about a very creepy, rainy town that has a whole community of strange, kind of monstrous creatures living underneath it. And Mackie is a very unlikely hero because his main priority at the beginning of the book is really just to stay invisible and kind of pass unnoticed in the town. But over the course of the story, he's challenged to kind of dig deeper and find out where he comes from.